Everyone says Toyota engines last forever, and yeah, they're some of the toughest out there. But let's be real, skip the small stuff, and even a Toyota will start guzzling oil, knocking, and begging for mercy way earlier than you'd think. I've seen Toyotas treated with just a little regular care cruise past 300,000, even 400,000 miles like it's nothing. I've also seen the same engines die before 150,000, leaving owners with repair bills in the $5,000 to $10,000 range that could have been avoided. So here's what we're doing today. I'm breaking down 10 game-changing tips that keep your Toyota's engine running like new. No dealer fluff, no complicated nonsense, just real steps that save you thousands. And at the end, I've got one free driving habit that might add years to your engine's life. Stick with me. By the time you finish this video, you'll know exactly how to make your Toyota run smoother, last longer, and cost you a whole lot less to maintain. Number 10. Check your fluids every 3 months. Most drivers don't even think about their fluids until the dashboard lights up. By then, the damage is already done. Fluids are your engine's lifeblood. They keep everything cool, reduce friction, and wash away grime. Neglect them, and you're asking for overheating, blown gaskets, or even a seized motor. And the price tag, something as simple as running low on coolant, can snowball into a $1,500 radiator replacement. Compare that to a $10 top-up and 5 minutes of your time. Here's the sweet spot for Toyotas. About every 3 months or 3,000 miles, pop the hood and do a quick check. Pull the oil dipstick, glance at your coolant level, check brake fluid color, and if your model has it, look at the transmission dipstick. Tools? A rag and a funnel. That's it. Driving a Prius or another hybrid, you get a little slack. The coolant system is sealed differently, so it doesn't need the same attention. But for most gas Toyotas, this is not optional. And if you'd rather not mess with it yourself, any independent shop will happily do a full fluid check and flush for $100 to $200, way less than the dealership will charge. Quick question, how many miles are on your Toyota right now? Drop it in the comments. Number 9. Change your oil every 5,000 to 10,000 miles. If there's one thing that decides whether your Toyota engine runs forever or dies young, it's oil changes. And yeah, I know, you've heard it 1,000 times. But here's the problem. People keep pushing it way too far, thinking, it's a Toyota, it'll survive. Wrong. Old oil doesn't just get dirty, it literally turns into sludge. That sludge clogs tiny oil passages, grinds down pistons, and eventually leaves you with a $6,000 rebuild bill. That's the price of a used Corolla, all because someone skipped a $40 oil change. Here's the real schedule. Every 5,000 miles on conventional oil, and if you're running full synthetic, like on a Camry or RAV4, you can stretch it to about 10,000 miles. But don't guess. Your owner's manual will tell you exactly what your model needs. DIY, medium difficulty. You'll need a jack, a drain pan, a wrench, and 30 minutes. Parts cost? $30 to $50. If you'd rather not crawl under the car, local shops usually handle it for $70 to $90. Now, here's the nuance. Highway drivers in mild weather can sometimes push 7,500 miles safely. But if you're stuck in stop-and-go traffic, making short trips, or starting cold every morning, stay closer to 5K. Toyota engines are tough, but they're not invincible. Number 8. Swap the oil filter every oil change. This one's almost too simple, but you'd be shocked how many people skip it. The oil filter is your engine's coffee filter. It catches the nasty stuff. Metal shavings, dirt, carbon. Leave it too long, and that filter clogs. Once it's clogged, dirty oil just slips right through and goes straight back into your engine. That's how you end up with worn bearings and a $2,000 repair bill over something that costs pocket change. The golden rule? Change the oil filter every single time you change the oil. That means every 5,000 to 10,000 miles, whether you're on conventional or synthetic. No excuses. DIY level? Couldn't be easier. 10 minutes, $10 to $15 filter, and you're done. Twist the old one off, screw the new one on, dab a little oil on the gasket so it seals right. That's it. If you're not the crawl under the car type, most shops will add maybe $20 in labor on top of your oil change. Yes, some older V6 Toyotas from the early 2000s can technically run longer with premium filters. But why push it? Filters are cheap insurance. Change it, and your engine stays clean. Think of it like this. Clean oil with a dirty filter is like brewing fresh coffee through yesterday's filter. The result? Still nasty. By the way, the next tip is one of the cheapest habits you'll ever learn, and it's saved me hundreds. Don't miss it. Number 7. Replace spark plugs at 60,000 to 100,000 miles. Spark plugs look tiny, but they're doing the most important job in the engine, lighting every single explosion that keeps your Toyota moving. No spark, no combustion. And without combustion, your car is just an expensive lawn ornament sitting in the driveway. When plugs get old, things go downhill fast. Misfires, wasted fuel, rough idle, and if you ignore it long enough, you can even damage the cylinders and end up staring at a $3,000 to $4,000 head gasket repair bill, all because of a $50 part. Here's how it breaks down. Most modern Toyotas, Corollas, Highlanders, Camrys use iridium spark plugs that last close to 100,000 miles. Older models with copper plugs, those need swapping closer to 60,000 miles. Don't guess. Your manual will tell you exactly what your car needs. DIY level, medium. You'll need a socket wrench, maybe an extension bar, and about 45 minutes of patience. A full set runs $50 to $100, and if you'd rather let someone else do it, shops usually charge $150 to $250 with labor. Honestly, not a bad deal if you don't like skinned knuckles. Hybrid owners, you've got a bonus here. Since the engine doesn't run as often, plugs can stretch up to 120,000 miles. Just don't get cocky. Misfires and hybrids sneak up quietly, and by the time you notice, it's usually ugly. Ever had a weird engine issue that turned out to be something simple? Share it below. Your story might save another Toyota owner a ton of money. Number 6. Clean the MAF sensor every 30,000 miles. If your Toyota suddenly feels sluggish or your gas mileage tanks, don't just blame bad fuel or worn plugs. A lot of the time, the real culprit is the MAF sensor, short for mass airflow. This little sensor sits in your intake and tells the computer how much air the engine is breathing in. When it gets dirty, it sends bad info. That means your engine runs rough, acceleration feels lazy, and you start burning more gas than you should, sometimes costing you an extra $200 a year at the pump. The fix? Stupid simple. Every 30,000 miles, pull the sensor, spray it with a can of MAF cleaner, let it dry, and pop it back in. 15 minutes, $10, no drama. DIY level, easy. All you need is a screwdriver and a steady hand. No scrubbing, no wiping, just spray and let it air dry. Don't want to mess with it yourself? Most indie shops will clean it for you during routine service for pocket change. One exception. Some Toyotas, especially certain Tacomas and newer models, have the sensor built into the throttle body. If that's you, don't bother unless you're actually seeing symptoms. Honestly, this tip alone is cheaper than lunch. If you think more people should know about it, you know what to do. Number 5. Test and replace the PCV valve around 50,000 miles. This is one of those parts most Toyota owners don't even know exists, the PCV valve. It's tiny, hidden, and cheap, but it's basically your engine's pressure release system. It vents gases out of the crankcase so they don't turn into sludge or force oil out where it doesn't belong. When it clogs, bad news. Pressure builds up, oil starts leaking, sludge forms inside the engine, and suddenly you're on the hook for a $4,000 professional cleanout, all because of a part that costs less than a Friday night takeout. Testing it is laughably simple. Pull it out and shake it. If it rattles, it's good. If it doesn't, toss it and pop in a new one. Easy rule of thumb. Replace it about every 50,000 miles. DIY level? Beginner. A pair of pliers, 5 minutes, and a new valve that runs $10 to $20. If you don't feel like doing it yourself, a shop will charge around $50 total. Still way cheaper than sludge surgery. Newer Toyotas, especially 2020 and up, often have updated PCV systems that last longer, sometimes closer to 80,000 miles. But if you notice rough idling or the engine drinking oil, don't wait around. Swap it. If this little trick saves you even one repair bill, that's already worth a thumbs up, right? Number 4. Inspect belts and hoses every month. Belts and hoses don't get any glory, but they're the quiet heroes that keep your Toyota alive. Belts spin your alternator, power steering, and AC. Hoses move coolant through the engine. If one snaps or bursts, you're not just late for work. you're stranded on the side of the road with smoke pouring out of the hood. A cracked serpentine belt can leave you stuck and cost $300 to $500 once you add towing and replacement. A blown radiator hose? That can literally cook your engine and turn into a $1,000 plus repair, all because of a part you could have spotted early. The fix? Free. Every month, or at least whenever you change your oil, pop the hood, grab a flashlight, and give things a look. Check belts for cracks or frays, squeeze the hoses. If they feel spongy, squishy, or brittle, swap them before they explode. DIY level? Couldn't be easier. Visual check equals 2 minutes, 0 tools. If you need a replacement and don't want to wrench, indie shops usually do it for $200 to $400, which is still way cheaper than an overheated engine. One thing to know, many Toyotas, like the 4Runner and newer Camrys, use timing chains instead of belts. Chains are built to last the life of the engine, so if a mechanic tries to sell you a timing belt replacement on a car that doesn't even have one, smile, say no thanks, and walk out. Number 3. Change the air filter every 15,000 to 30,000 miles. Here's one that mechanics love to cash in on: the air filter. It's the simplest part under your hood, but when it's clogged, your Toyota is basically trying to breathe through a pillow. That means weaker acceleration, rougher running, and you paying an extra $150 to $200 a year just in wasted fuel. And here's the kicker. It's so easy to fix, most people could do it while waiting for their coffee. Pop the clips on the airbox, pull the old filter, drop in a new one. $20 part, 5 minutes tops. That's it. But what happens if you ignore it? A dirty filter doesn't just choke your mileage, it can foul up your mass airflow sensor and dump soot into the intake. Over time, that adds wear everywhere, all because of a filter that costs less than dinner at a diner. Shops? They'll gladly charge you $40 to $60 for the same swap. And dealerships? Double that. That's why mechanics smile when you forget about it. Easy profit for them. Wasted money for you. I had a neighbor with a Camry who swore his car was losing power. He was ready to pay for a new fuel pump. Guess what? We swapped the $20 air filter, and suddenly it felt brand new. He still owes me a case of beer for saving him $600. Number 2. Use the right fuel and keep injectors clean. Here's a sneaky one that trips up a lot of Toyota owners: fuel choice. Some people think premium gas is better, right? Wrong. If your manual calls for regular, dumping premium in is just burning money. And if your engine actually needs premium and you cheap out with regular, you're risking knock, rough running, and eventually expensive internal wear. Now, let's talk injectors. Over time, fuel injectors build up deposits, and suddenly your Toyota starts idling rough, burning extra gas, or misfiring. A clogged injector can run you $400 or more to replace. But here's the trick mechanics use. Every 10,000 miles or so, run a bottle of high-quality fuel injector cleaner, or just stick to top-tier gas stations that already have the detergents mixed in. That $10 cleaner buys you thousands in savings down the road. DIY level? Couldn't be simpler. Pour it into the tank before a fill-up, drive as normal, and let the cleaner do its job. No tools, no shop visit, no hassle. A buddy of mine had a Corolla that started shaking at stoplights. He thought it was transmission trouble. Turned out it was just dirty injectors. We ran a $10 bottle of cleaner through the tank. Problem gone. He couldn't believe something that cheap fixed it. Number 1. Drive gently and consistently. This one costs nothing, but it can add years to your Toyota's life. Cold morning? If you slam the gas the second the engine fires, you're basically asking it to sprint in flip-flops. Give it a breather. Let it idle for 30 seconds. Let the oil flow, then ease into your drive. Once you're moving, think smooth. Gentle acceleration, steady RPMs. Engines love consistency. It's like feeding your body real food instead of living on energy drinks and donuts. And yeah, Toyotas can cruise at 90 all day long, but here's the truth. Running flat out every single day slowly bakes the engine. Keep it under 70 when you can. You'll save gas and avoid cooking it from the inside out. Here's the wild part. Aggressive driving can literally cut 50,000 miles off an engine's lifespan. That's the difference between a Camry giving up at 250,000 versus one still humming past 300,000. Drive it smart, and your Toyota will outlast half the cars in your neighborhood. Send this video to your friend who treats oil changes like optional upgrades. You might save their engine. All right, let's pull it all together. If you actually stick to these tips, fluids every few months, oil and filter on schedule, plugs, sensors, PCV, belts, hoses, and just driving like you actually care about your car, your Toyota isn't just going to hit 200,000 miles. It can push past 400,000 miles. And think about that. 400,000 miles is like driving from New York to Los Angeles 140 times. Imagine doing that on the same engine without dropping a fortune at the shop. That's the payoff. Start simple. This weekend, pop your hood and do a fluid check. Costs nothing, takes 5 minutes, and it's the easiest way to catch problems before they snowball. One quick reminder though, if your Toyota has an active recall or your dashboard is already lighting up like a Christmas tree, handle that first. Maintenance doesn't replace safety fixes. Here's a cheap one I swear by. Keep a little $5 mileage logbook in your glove box. Every time you change oil, swap a filter, or replace plugs, jot it down. It sounds old school, but it keeps you honest about intervals and helps you spot trends like sudden oil drops. That tiny notebook, it can save you hundreds in surprise repairs and makes you look like the smartest person alive when a mechanic asks, "When was the last time you did X?" and you've got the exact answer. So there you go. 10 solid tips plus one bonus hack to keep your Toyota engine running like it just rolled off the lot. Which one are you actually going to try first? Let me know in the comments. I always pin the most useful ones so other Toyota owners can benefit too. If this video helped, hit that like button, share it with the friend who always brags about their bulletproof Corolla, and don't forget to subscribe for more straight-up car care videos. And if you want to keep this momentum going, check out my next video on spotting fake parts that can wreck your car's reliability. That one might save you from wasting money on junk parts that look OEM, but definitely aren't. Thanks for hanging out. See you in the next one.